Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to dive into something I know a lot of us think about, how to get a brighter, whiter smile, but by using more natural methods. So let's get right into it.
I mean, you've seen all those whitening strips and gels in the stores, right? And look, they can be super effective. But maybe you're a little hesitant about the chemicals, or you're just wondering, is there a gentler way to do this? It's a really common question, and a totally valid one.
So that's what we're here to do. We're going to cut through all the noise and the hype. We'll dig into some of the most popular at-home remedies and see what the science actually has to say about whether they work, and just as importantly, whether they're safe.
But before we can even talk about solutions, we have to understand the root of the problem. Why do our teeth start to look less than pearly white in the first place?
Well, it really boils down to two main things. First, you've got your classic surface stains. This is what you probably think of: plaque buildup, or things like coffee, tea, and red wine staining that hard outer layer of your tooth called the enamel. But the second cause is a little different. It's when that enamel actually wears away, or erodes. Underneath it is a layer called dentin, which is naturally more yellow. So sometimes what looks like a stain isn't a stain at all. It's just the true, deeper color of your tooth starting to show through.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's talk about what you can actually do. Think of this as building your very own natural, at-home whitening toolkit with some really popular and gentle remedies.
First up is something called oil pulling. This is an ancient practice from India that's been used for centuries, not just to clean teeth, but to improve overall oral hygiene by supposedly pulling bacteria out of the mouth.
So, how do you do it? It's pretty straightforward. You just take a tablespoon of coconut oil and you swish it around your mouth, really pushing and pulling it between your teeth for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, the last step is absolutely crucial. Spit it out into a trash can. Seriously, do not spit it in your sink. That oil can turn back into a solid and will clog your pipes like you wouldn't believe.
So what's the verdict? Is it a miracle whitener? Well, the evidence for dramatic whitening is pretty limited. But some research does suggest that the lauric acid in coconut oil can help reduce the bacteria that causes plaque. And a huge plus is that it's not acidic at all, so it won't harm your enamel. That makes it perfectly safe to do every day if you want to.
Okay, let's move on to two other things you almost definitely have in your house right now: baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. You see these recommended all the time, either together as a paste or used separately.
Let's break down how they work, because they're very different. Baking soda is a mild abrasive. Think of it as gently scrubbing the surface stains off your teeth. Hydrogen peroxide is different. It's a natural bleaching agent that also kills bacteria. Now, the key with both of these is safety. For hydrogen peroxide, you have to dilute it. If you have a standard 3% solution, mix it with an equal amount of water to cut it in half. And with either of these, overuse is a bad idea. It can really irritate your gums and even damage your enamel. So a few times a week is the absolute max.
All right, we've talked about a few treatments, but honestly, the best offense is a good defense. Your everyday diet and habits, that's your real first line of defense when it comes to keeping your teeth white.
And the main culprits are probably no surprise: coffee, red wine, soda, dark berries, and, of course, tobacco. Now, you don't have to cut them out completely, but a couple of smart tips can make a huge difference. Try using a straw for drinks, and this is a big one: wait about an hour after you have them to brush your teeth. That gives your enamel time to re-harden if it was softened by any acids in your drink.
And remember how we talked about enamel eroding? Well, this is how you fight back. Cutting down on sugar basically starves the bad bacteria that create plaque. And at the same time, if you load up on calcium-rich foods like milk, cheese, and broccoli, you're actually helping to rebuild and strengthen that enamel from the inside out.
Oh, the internet. It is full of so-called miracle whitening hacks. So, in this next section, let's do a little myth-busting to make sure you don't accidentally do way more harm than good.
I am sure you have seen this one everywhere. The claim is that brushing with that black activated charcoal powder will pull toxins from your mouth and just lift the stains right off.
So what's the reality? Well, there is just no scientific proof that it works. In fact, most research suggests that not only is it probably ineffective, but because it's so abrasive, you could actually be scratching and permanently damaging your enamel. This is one to just skip.
Okay, here's another one that pops up a lot, especially in the wellness world: using apple cider vinegar, or ACV, as a mouthwash to whiten your teeth. But again, the science says this is a big no. There is zero evidence it actually whitens. What it does do is wash your teeth in a very strong acid. And acid, as we know, weakens and erodes enamel. So far from helping you, this could actually make you more prone to tooth decay. Definitely stay away from this one.
So we've covered gentle remedies, we've covered prevention, and we've covered the myths to ignore. Now for what is maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, understanding the limits of what you can do at home and knowing when it's time to see a professional.
Let's put this all in perspective. The natural remedies we talked about, they're best for gently, and I mean gently, removing minor surface stains over a longer period of time. Professional whitening from a dentist, on the other hand, uses much stronger, very carefully controlled bleaching agents. That means they can tackle much deeper, more severe discoloration way more effectively.
And this really brings us to the single most important takeaway. Before you start any whitening routine, even a natural one, talk to your dentist. They're the only one who can really tell you why your teeth are discolored and what the safest, most effective approach is going to be for you personally. So to wrap it all up, let's make this something you can act on right now. Thinking about everything we just covered, from trying oil pulling to just drinking your coffee with a straw, what's one small habit you could start today for a healthier and brighter smile? Thanks so much for watching.